Hello all, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a very important video where we are going to discuss on the most common generic mistakes everyone makes or we should avoid while working with any automation framework. Okay, so let's discuss point by point. Guys, I have uploaded this quick reference cheat sheet in the interview preparation kit. Please do check out. I have given a link in the description and also in the comment section. Okay, let's get started. The first thing that you need to avoid is hard coding the test data, URLs, credentials, and locators in the framework. And the second thing that you need to avoid is writing the duplicate code instead of creating the reusable methods. Okay. And the third thing that you need to avoid is ignoring the page object model or using it inconsistently. Okay. And the fourth point that you need to avoid while working with the framework is using the unstable or dynamic locators that frequently break. Okay, all these are the mistakes that you should avoid. Okay, so I'm speaking about the mistakes, so please ensure all these points are properly updated and properly maintained while working with automation framework. Okay, and the fifth point that you need to avoid is relying completely on the thread.sleep method instead of using the explicit waits. And the sixth point that you need to avoid is mixing the test logic with the page interaction logic. Okay. And the seventh point that you need to avoid is creating the test case dependencies instead of independent tests. Okay. And the eighth point that you need to avoid is poor execution exception handling that hides the actual root cause. Okay. And the ninth point that you need to avoid is not maintaining the proper logging and reporting. And the 10th point you need to avoid is using the static weights instead of synchronization strategies. Okay. And the 11th point that you need to keep in mind and avoid is keeping the large unreadable test methods. Okay. You should not do this. And 12th thing that you should not do is not following the coding standards and naming conventions is a big mistake. And 13th point that you need to keep in mind and avoid is ignoring the framework folder structure and project organization. Okay, so you shouldn't ignore this. And 14th point you should consider is failing to externalize the configuration values. Okay, you should maintain all the values properly in separate files so that it's easy to read. Okay, and 15th point that you need to consider and avoid is uh, you should not uh, you should not sorry I mean you should not ignore the test data. You should maintain it properly and manage it properly, and the test data should be reusable. Okay. And the 16th point that you need to avoid is not cleaning up the test data after the execution. And the 17th point that you need to avoid is executing the test without proper assertions. Okay. And the 18th point that you need to consider is and avoid is catching all the exception without meaningful handling. Okay. And the 19th point that you need to consider is running the test sequentially when the framework supports parallel execution. Okay. And the 20th point that you need to consider is ignoring the flaky tests instead of fixing the root causes. Okay, so this is the most important thing. You shouldn't ignore the flaky tests. Okay, and the 21st point, sorry, and 21st point that you should consider, you should avoid is not version controlling the framework changes properly. So you should properly maintain and do the version controls so that it's easily readable and understandable for the next changes, and you can easily track. Okay. And the 22nd point that you need to avoid is keeping the outdated or unused utility classes and methods. 23rd point that you need to avoid is not validating the screenshots, logs, and reports for failures. And the 24th one you shouldn't do is ignoring the cross browser and cross environment compatibility. 25th point you should avoid is writing the framework code without proper documentation. 26th point you should avoid is over engineering the framework with unnecessary design patterns. 27th point that you should avoid is not reviewing or refactoring the framework code regularly. 28th point you should consider and avoid is ignoring the performance impact of test execution. And 29th point you should avoid is not parameterizing the test wherever it's appropriate. And the final point that you should be avoid while working with any automation framework is treating the framework as a one-time setup instead of continuously improving. That you shouldn't do. You should continuously improve and incorporate the things whatever necessary for the framework. Okay, so that's all I had for this call. Guys, if you are looking for end-to-end interview preparation kit along with detailed answers, please do check out for the link in the description and also in the comment section. After going through this interview preparation kit, you should be able to crack any interviews confidently and you can confidently work in real-time industry level projects. Okay, so thank you so much for watching my video. All the best for your upcoming interview.